Hello again, fellow audiophiles. I am Wave Theory, and I am back today to drop a couple of first impressions for you, and these are HiFiMan products. Today we are talking about my initial early reaction to the new HiFiMan Ananda Stealth Magnet Edition, and something I've been really excited about and trying to get in for a while. That is the EF400 DAC and headphone amplifier all in one unit. All right. HiFiMan graciously sent me both of these products. They have asked for nothing in return other than a fair and honest review. And so this is not quite the full review yet. These are just the first impressions, but please know that HiFiMan has made no attempt to influence my opinion for either of these two products or anything that they have sent me for this channel. All right, I will timestamp on the video and in the description here the sound impressions, again, the first impressions for either of these, so you can skip to the one that you want to watch if I talk about the one that you don't want first. I think I'm going to start with the Ananda here, which pricing seems to the MSRP that they had originally targeted was $999 USD. On their website, at least at the time of this video, and I filmed this on Independence Day here in the US, so July 4th, 2022, they have it marked down to $699 US. I don't know how long that price is going to last, but you know, that's where it sits right now. The EF400 is a $599 US piece. Okay, and I will link to both of these on HiFiMan's website. The links will be in below. And if Apos Audio sells them, they are an affiliate sponsor of mine, and so I will put affiliate links to where you can buy these at Apos Audio if they carry them. They don't always, but I will look into that. All right, so let's dive in here. The Ananda. Let's start with that. So this is the newest version of the Ananda. It has the stealth magnets in it. I have not heard the original Ananda. That is one of the few HiFiMan models that I haven't gotten on my head yet, but I'm pretty excited about this one. It's pretty new, and what I like about it is, like, it has, first of all, the suspension strap headband system here that has that was not on the Edition XS per se, and so there are some comfort issues that have come with the newer headband style that HiFiMan was using for some of their under 1K models. So I'm glad that they included the suspension strap here, because I can tell you, just having it on my head right here, this is a brand new in the box unit. Like, it's fairly comfortable. There is a little bit of clamp to it, so I will stretch that out a little bit and break that part in by putting it on headphone stands for a while. But the headband itself, like how it fits on the head, feels good. Okay, that's fine. Sound impressions. Now, it's important to say that an advantage that this one has over the Edition XS, which is their $500 model, is that this one is rated at a 27 ohm impedance with a 103 decibel per milliwatt sensitivity, and it is very easy to drive. In these initial impressions, I put it on a Theo M11 Plus DAP, which I have in for review, and that drove it just fine with a fair amount of headroom left to go. The bass was deep and punchy and present and all of those kinds of things. I didn't hear that the Theo is in any way straining to drive these, so you can drive them fairly well with at least portable audiophile devices. I have not gotten around to yet plugging them directly into a tablet or a laptop or something of that nature from just the headphone outputs of those. Okay, but DAP, thumbs up, at least in terms of drivability. My initial impression of the sound signature is that HiFiMan has found a signature that they like, and I tend to agree with them. The signature that comes with the HE1000 V2, the Aria Stealth Magnet Edition, the Edition XS, okay, just that kind of, it's even the Susvara. I'm not calling these Susvara, but I'm saying, like, in terms of tuning, where they have this mostly sort of Harman-like neutral, just slightly V with a little bit of warmth, okay, but still much more neutral than anything else. Like, that's what these are, okay. and I have been really impressed with the timbre and the tonal balance of these. Like my first impressions on these, not broken in yet. We'll work on that after I shoot this video. Okay, but their timbre and their tonal balance are excellent. Okay, are very good. There is just a little bit of grain sometimes in the lower mids, and I think there are just a couple of spots in the lower end that have to fill out a little bit. The Edition XS was similar when I first put it on, and it filled in the bass in a big way with break-in. Whether that be the drivers or just the pad softening or a little bit of both, the bass really woke up on those after about 36-ish hours of break-in, I want to say. So I will do likewise to these and give them some pretty aggressive break-in here over the next several nights before I dive into the proper review. But the larger sound stage that is associated with these HiFiMans, with these egg-shaped cups, is here. The imaging and separation is here. Like all of those traits that I like and many like about HiFiMan's egg-shaped line are here with that wonderful sort of warm, slightly V, still mostly neutral tuning. Okay, it's all there and it's very easy to drive. It's got the suspension strap headband on it. Okay, I think there's going to be a lot to like here. So my initial impression of these is very positive, and I'm looking forward to getting back into the full review. I have some other gear in, which I will talk about at the end of the video, so I'm not going to be able to jump back into these right away, but I'm going to drop this first impressions here because my first impressions are quite solid. All right. The EF400, an all-in-one DAC amp for $599 US. The DAC section in this incorporates HiFiMan's Himalaya R2R DAC solution, which I think is basically R2R on a chip. Okay, kinda like the shit multibit solution. You know, it's R2R on a chip. I think that's basically what's going on in here from a DAC perspective. And then, of course, there is a headphone amp in it, and the headphone amp is quite beefy. I can tell there's a fair amount of power here, and not just power, but power delivery. I will get into the ins and outs of the specifications when I do the full review of it. Okay, but the front panel here, I find it pretty attractive, and we can see like right from the front panel here that there is both oversampling and non-oversampling modes on this. We also have 4-pin balanced XLR output, 4.4 millimeter Pentacon balanced output. Here is a 3.5 millimeter single-ended headphone out, and then this odd-looking 1/4" / 6.35 millimeter headphone out that's got this sort of housing around it just for the visual symmetry they've got going on front. One thing I have noticed is that the potentiometer doesn't have great resistance in its tuning, or its turning, I should say. It's a little bit soft and splashy. There's not a lot of play in it, but there's not a whole lot of resistance to it either. And I also noticed some channel imbalance when it's at low levels, okay, below about, let's see, what would that be? Around the 8-9 o'clock range. Okay, you get down there, not 9 o'clock, but 7, 8 o'clock at the low volumes, there is some channel imbalance going on due to the potentiometer. Turn it up into a higher range, I don't notice that channel imbalance. Okay, round back on this one, we see two types of USB inputs. We have the full Type A size, we also have a Type C. I don't believe that these are active at the same time. I will have to check that. I don't know why they would be. There's no switching mechanism on the front to select inputs. I think you just have to pick one and use it. That's the only input you get. Then this RCA out and this XLR balanced out, these are just line outs as far as I can tell. There is no preamp out. You cannot adjust the output of these things from the front panel potentiometer. Also, there is no kind of analog input in case you have a turntable or something like that you'd want to run through your headphone amp. Okay, nothing like that. So feature-wise, it's rather stripped down. Okay, and I'll dive deeper into that when I get to the full review. Okay, but let's talk about sound impressions. It's fun. It is a lot of fun to listen to. I have tried these, the Anandas on it. I have tried a Sennheiser HD600, one of the newer iterations of that, which I have in for review on here. And I also put in the HE6 SEV2 because HiFiMan talks up this thing's ability to drive hard to drive planars. So I had to check that real quick. And I will tell you, with all three headphones, this one, the HD600, and the HE6 SEV2, I had a lot of fun and ended up listening to a lot more tracks than I planned to listen to when I first sat down with all three of those headphones. It drove them all pretty well. Right away, it seems like the EF400, it's making the soundstage a little bit bigger than just the headphones on their own do. Like the HD600 in particular stood out to me as sounding wider and bigger than it normally does with the EF400. I was also impressed with the level of detail and clarity, all that. Now, the Blue Mini dongle that I have reviewed before, which I can put a link to below, I thought was a little bit mid-forward. It has that same Himalaya R2R DAC chip in it. I thought it was a little bit too mid-forward. There is just a slight, maybe just a slight mid-forwardness to the presentation here, but not near to the extent that I was getting with the Blue Mini, and not to the extent that it became distracting for me. Mr. Mid-sensitive doesn't like shout, doesn't like honk, doesn't like hollow kinds of sounds, okay? But so frequency response wise and just the level activity and the energy in the sound, like this thing is just fun. Music comes alive. It's engaging. The treble is well controlled. It like seems to rein in the treble on even some HiFiMan headphones, which can have that bit of a treble peak, at least with the HE6 SEV2. And maybe this one, I haven't evaluated this one fully enough to know if it has that peak in it, but with the HE6 SEV2, I thought it controlled the treble on that one pretty well, and so forth. So I also have a very favorable early impression of this, and have the time that I have put on it has been very, very enjoyable. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here because these are first impressions. I got to give a thumbs up to these two, the Ananda Stealth Magnet Edition and the EF400 DAC amp, for my first impressions. Obviously, I haven't done the ins and outs. I need to fully break in the Ananda for one, and I need to give this more time to see what it really can do, and then of course compare it direct A/B with other products. I've been promised by Apos that I'm going to get the topping DX7 Plus Pro Plus, whatever the new DX7 is. They've told me I'm getting one. That's going to be $649. So that's going to be right direct competitor to this thing, and I will face those two off with each other. When that comes in, I will also try to track down a couple of other all-in-one solutions in that mid-tier price range as well to compare this to, and then we'll see how it stacks up with the competition. But on its own, I've been enjoying it a lot. All right. I mentioned some other gear reviews that are coming up that are not related to these. I have an 11 Audio PowerMan and Formula S headphone amp and power supply stack in for review that I need to get to, so that will be coming up in the near future. I have that Sennheiser HD600, the newer one I'm talking about, so I will get to that. And then I also mentioned the FiiO M11 Plus. It's the Plus? It's the Plus. Trying to keep all of this straight in my head. So I will be dropping all of those, and part 4 of my cables series is coming out soon. It's getting close to done, okay? I am working on it. Thank you for being patient on that. It's coming soon. All right, I'm Wave Theory. These were my initial thoughts on the HiFiMan Ananda Stealth Magnet Edition and the HiFiMan EF400 DAC and headphone amp. Okay, thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy the music.